happy to be here to speak again about the wonderful wonder of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. We're not just speaking about the pastimes, we're digging into the heart of Mahaprabhu. What is underlying all what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is describing? Of course, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is already going very deep in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but he's mentioning also some things that are very beautiful to connect together. Then we understand more what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the mercy is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we can attain Radha Krishna only by going through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Radha and Krishna combine it together to come to us in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was their way of giving us their greatest treasure and their pure love. So they combined themselves and came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us that greatest treasure. So we get this treasure from them in their form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is just logical. If the king is sending a minister to distribute some wealth, then the logic is that if you want to receive that wealth, you go to the minister that the king has sent. Because if you go to the king directly, the king will tell you, well, I sent my minister to distribute that wealth, so just go to him. In the same way, it's very good to approach Radha and Krishna, but if we really want their mercy, they will tell us, oh, we came to distribute that mercy in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just come to us in our form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and we will give you. Because that's how they give it. Like in India, they often give things in the right hand. Today I went to Jagannath temple and asked some devotee of Jagannath Puri if he could bring me some Mahaprasadam from Jagannath because we cannot enter the temple. So he went inside and he brought some Mahaprasadam. And then he asked me to give my right hand because he didn't want to put the Mahaprasadam in my left hand. And he told me I should remove my shoes, so I removed my shoes and I stretched out my right hand. And then he gave me the Mahaprasadam, because that's the way he wanted to give it to me. Because probably scriptures says that it's best to do like this. But this devotee was attached to do it in this way. So I have to accept his way of doing it, because he has the mercy, he has the prasadam of Lord Jagannath in his hands. So when he came, I wanted just to take it. I stretch out my two hands, even maybe my left hand, I don't remember, because being born in the West, we don't really pay too much attention to these things. And we also know there are some external rules, not fundamental, but they are respectful, so why not? And but he didn't want to give me if I wanted to grab it like this, so I have to do the way he wants to give it to me. So I removed my shoes, stretched my right hand, and I got the prasadam. It's not complicated. In the same way, Radha and Krishna, they want to give us by coming in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because there is something special. There is a reason why they wanted to give us like this, because there is a special mercy. It's easier to receive it like this, and they reveal a special secret also through that. So we have to take it as they give it. So it's so important to approach Mahaprabhu and to try to really understand the heart of Mahaprabhu. If we can understand the heart of Mahaprabhu as being the heart of Radharani when Uddhava came to Vrindavan, and if we can understand in this life, maybe if it will take our entire life, if at the end of the life, or even better before, by their mercy we can understand why Krishna wanted to experience that particular feelings. Then we will go back to the spiritual world, because Krishna says, Naiti Mameti So Arjuna. He who understands him, his appearance and activities, in truth, in tattva, Janma karma cha me divyam, kedvascha mamveti tadvata. He who understands like this in truth, not just superficial understanding, but in all the beauty of depth of what he is doing, then Krishna said, then he will not take birth. He who understands that will not take birth again. He will come to me directly, to my abode, to be with me. That's the price to pay. Krishna doesn't want, or will not, and its logic bring us to his abode if we don't understand the mood of his abode and what is it about. And if we don't have the desire, very profound desire to attain it. But if we understand it and we naturally develop the very sincere desire to attain, then Krishna naturally will take us, because we have already made the shift of consciousness, the shift of heart, that now we are in tune with Krishna because we understand his heart, so we can be in tune with him already, and we want to be in tune with his will. So then Krishna can take us. Otherwise, there is no so much reason. Otherwise, what he will do is that first he will help us to understand his mood and to develop the desire by sending us some devotees who will help us to understand. And then when we will be mature, when our rasa, our feelings, when the fruit that we are will be ripe, that means we'll have developed the required feelings, and then Krishna will pick up that fruit and take us with him. Omagyanati minandasya gyanam janam shalakya chakshur militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. By the mercy of Guru, we have received that divine knowledge which is shining with the light of pure love for Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam in the Bhutali Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. And Sri Rupa has come to this world to reveal the heart of Mahaprabhu, to Stapitam in the Bhutali. When will he accept me at his lotus feet? So Rupa is the beautiful embodiment of Mahaprabhu's mercy and Radha and Krishna's mercy. As Rupa Goswami, he embodies the mercy of Mahaprabhu. As Rupa Manjari, he embodies the mercy of Shri Radha and Shyam also. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. With the mercy of the Panchatattva, we can become a recipient of what we don't deserve, because we don't deserve anything, but they can make us recipient of what we don't deserve, because that is the nature of their love. So we always carry the members of the Panchatattva and all the associates of Mahaprabhu in our hearts. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the ultimate mantra, where we're begging Sri Radha and Shyam to accept us and engage us in their eternal pastimes in Braj, in our eternal spiritual form. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. And we offer, of course, our humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, who is the embodiment of the message of Mahaprabhu for us. He has come to deliver us from the misunderstanding, the world of illusion, where so many philosophies are trying to bewilder us and to attract us into so many directions. Prabhupada came and he gave us instead the nectar of the holy name and the Bhagavatam and the forms of deity of Radha and Krishna and the association of the devotees, all these gifts. So without him, we don't have any hope. Everything coming through his divine hands to us. So we were in Chaitanya Charitamrita, always on the same thing, and even though at some point now we will proceed forward, actually internally we will never be able to proceed further than this verse, because it's impossible, it's unlimited. Krishna himself trying to experience this verse by coming in the form of Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's state of mind, day and night, was practically identical to Radharani's state of mind when Uddhava came to Vrindavan to see the gopis, Shri Radhikara Chestayana, Uddhava Darashane, Ei Matadasha Prabhura Oya Ratridine. Then I could continue, and there are many things to say, and I will continue, but I also want to make one step in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Otherwise it seems that we're sticking on the same verse forever. So let's read the next verse. Nirantara hoy Prabhu viraha unmada brahmamaya chesta sada pranapa mayavada. The Lord constantly exhibited a state of mind reflecting the madness of separation. He was absorbed in what we call viraha unmada, the madness of separation. All his activities were based on forgetfulness, and his talks were always based on madness. So that's the state of mind, very similar or identical to the state of mind we have described of Sri Radha in when Uddhava came to Vrindavan. All her activities were based on forgetfulness and her talk on divine madness. So I found also in the Padyavali something very beautiful about Uddhava's visiting Vrindavan. The Padyavali are some verses by Rupa Goswami, just compiled some verses from here and there, like if you would take some pearls from different necklaces here and there, and you would make a new necklace with all these pearls from different ornaments, because Rupa is the best necklace maker. He made a very beautiful necklaces with all these verses from different Vaishnavas, some famous, some unknown, and some even anonymous. So the first verse that speaks about Uddhava's visit to Vrindavan is this one from Sri Sarvananda, whom we don't know. And Rupa writes his verse. In the past, the Yamuna would every day become muddied with the black musk, anointing the Vraja gopis' bodies and breasts. Means the gopis of Vraj, on their body and on their breast, they put some drawings with black musk, very beautiful drawings. Tattoo is coming from Krishna Lila. In Krishna Lila, the gopis, they decorate their body, or body paint also coming from there, and, but in a very pure sattvic, very beautiful way. Not so much like the tattoos. Often tattoos are very much tamasic when they're done by tamasic persons. Of course, now some devotees are making some beautiful tattoos with Krishna, so then it's no more tamasic, it's beautiful. But that's coming from Vrajalila. They used to decorate their body with the brush and painting, making so many jewels. You know, like when we dress the deities, we make normally around the eyes of Radha and Krishna gopi dots, but they have gopi dots, or not only gopi dots, not dots, but very refined drawings, also on their arms, also on their feet, also on their faces, also eventually on their back or abdomen, anywhere that it can be beautiful, because they are very resourceful and they have imagination, they are the greatest artists. So whatever idea that can be beautiful they have, they decorate themselves. Not only with black musk, but also sometimes with vermilion, sometimes with saffron, sometimes, so they can use any colors. The Gopas, they also decorate Krishna like this, with some minerals from Govardhan. They make different drawings. So mostly this can be drawings of flowers, because it's very beautiful to draw flowers on the body. But it can be also stars, like we see in the sky. It can be many things actually. Whatever is beautiful, and these lines, they are made with pure love, so they are manifestation of their love also. It's amazingly beautiful how they draw. And also the gopis, when they dress Krishna, they also draw over his body, because the gopis, they also dress Krishna, but that's mostly happening in Radhakund at noon, when Krishna visits Radhakund during the daytime. So then they bathe in Radhakund, and then Krishna has to dress up again, and Radharani has to dress up again. So then the gopis, the manjari, they come and they help, but they also help Krishna to dress, and then they will very much expect or desire to also decorate Krishna. So then they will dress Krishna in the gopi way. It's different when Krishna is dressed by Mother Yashoda and her servant in Nandagram in the morning. This is one style, Yashoda style, and the servant style. And then it's different when the Gopas, they further decorate Krishna. When they go in the forest, the Gopas, they will add some paintings on Krishna with some minerals from Govardhan Hill, make some drawings on his limbs. They will add some flowers, some garlands, some fruits, even some berries, and they may make him a turban. They may or redo his turban. They may add some other jewels that they have brought for him or that they give him from them. They may make so many different jewels also from what they found in the forest, and make some bracelets and necklaces for Krishna, not only flowers. As I said, could be berries, could be whatever beautiful they can find and imagine. They can use it. So that's the Gopa way of dressing Krishna and Balaram. And then there is the Gopi way of dressing Krishna when he's coming to Radhakund, and after basing in the Radhakund and manifesting some beautiful, beautiful pastimes. So many beautiful pastimes are happening in the water of Radhakund. We don't speak so much about it, but it's extremely beautiful, maybe the most beautiful pastimes in terms of sweetness and love that Radha and Krishna can display in the realm of meeting. Of course, there is also separation happening there in Radhakund, but very beautiful pastimes of meeting also. So many things they do together. And then after blessing, they decorate Krishna in the Gopi ways. They put flowers on Krishna. Sometimes they even braid his hair. There is no limit. They're very imaginative, and it's just between themselves. There's only Krishna, nobody else sees, so they can dress Radha and Krishna really like they want at this time. They can be very creative, and it's decorated by women, by young girl. The gopis, they are the greatest artists. So that makes Krishna mostly beautiful. He's best dressed by the gopis in Radhakund. No, it's very beautiful how they decorate Krishna. Very amazing. It would be more feminine art, and that makes Krishna more sweet. That makes Krishna more soft and more under control, more humble. That manifest all the qualities that are in the deep core of his heart. Because when Krishna comes to Radhakund, he becomes completely, entirely who he is in the core of his heart. He has no more play to do. When he is in Nandagram, he has some play to do. Of course, it's not fake. He's always acting 100% with pure love with his mother and father and friends and servants and relatives. But he cannot tell them about his love for Radharani and her girlfriend. He cannot tell them that, because that's part of the rasa. If you tell them, then that rasa will be minimized. So that's a secret there. And then even when Krishna is with his friends, it's also not disclosed. They don't know. So Krishna has to play another role, the role of the friend. And only some of his friends, like Subal, Madhuvangan, Gandharva, Arjuna, who are the Priya Narmasakas, they can understand this love of him who is the gopi, so they know. They come to Radhakund also. They are the only boys who can enter Radhakund because they have gopi bhava inside their heart. So even though they have bodies of boys, inside their heart they have hearts of gopis. So it makes them a very beautiful combination of both rasas. It's like that. Radha and Krishna manifested them like that, like they manifested Manjaris. And so Priyanarma, they are Priyanarma Saka, they are the counterpart of Priyanarma Sakis and Manjaris, because they have different ages. The same like Radha, and so like Radha has some girlfriends and maidservants who are fully attuned with her heart and who can participate in the pure pastime of love between her and Krishna. Krishna also has some similar friends that can be there, and some servants also, like Subal. Subal is a friend, but he's quite younger than Krishna. Krishna is 15 and a half, Subal is 12 and a half. So the age of Subal is the age of the Manjaris. 12 and a half is the age of Kamala Manjari, is the age of many Manjaris. Some are 12, some are 12 and a half, some are 13. These are the Manjaris. Rupa Manjari is 13. And I don't remember exactly who is who, but some of them are younger, 12. Some of them are even younger, 11 and a half, but we don't mention so much. We don't mention them so much because they're very, very young maid servants. And their mood also is a little bit different, very shy, but very beautiful. So boys like Subal and his group, he has a group of this age, 12 and a half years old, 12 years old, very young boys they are actually like Manjaris, but in form of young boys. They're serving Krishna in his loving pastimes. And all of them, they are settled around Sri Radhakund. Madhumangal is there also. Sometimes we think Madhumangal is a buffoon. He's the comic one in Krishna's pastimes, but that's the external aspect of Madhumangal. That's the role he plays in order to be able to make some distraction and keep secret Krishna's pastimes of intimacies with Radharani and the gopis. And also because that's part of him. But the other side of Madhumangal is that he's there always to understand Krishna's heart and help him. He's always there. He knows everything what's going on in Krishna's heart. He can feel it and help him in these difficult moments when all his other boyfriends and relatives, they don't understand what's happening inside Krishna's heart. Madhu, Subal, Ujval, Gandharva, all these Priyanamasaka boys, they understand. So they are the heart friends of Krishna. And what enables them to understand is that even though they have some male bodies, they have Gopi Bhava, explained Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. That means they have the heart, the bhav of gopis, which means more or less that they are gopis at heart. They have this mood of young girls, but they have the form of young boys. So very interesting associates of Radha and Krishna also. So that's why, because they have the heart of gopis, then they can be there with the other gopis, because their heart is not creating any disturbance. They have the same heart like the gopis, or extremely similar. So anyway, I was diverting on all this to say that Krishna is very beautifully decorated in Radhakund at midday, and these pastimes in Radhakund, they are quite long every day. They last from 10:48 to 3:36, and that's that's the double time of the other periods of Astakaliya Lila. The noon period and the night period are double, because actually the day is divided into 10, how we could say, slices, 10 equal parts of 2 hours 24 minutes. If you multiply 2 hours and 24 minutes by 10, then you have 24 hours. But it makes 10 parts, and we call actually the daily pastime Astakaliya Lila, of 8 parts, because the noon and the midnight pastime, they last for double time. So we have 2 big um, phases, and then 6 smaller phases. 3 smaller phases in the morning, then 1 big phase, 3 smaller phases in the afternoon, and 1 big phase. That's how it happens. And the big phases, the longer times, are when Radha and Krishna are together. So finally in Vraj they stay together. So the Radha Kund is a long midday pastimes, 10:48 to 3:36. How many hours this is? That's double 2:24. So that's 4 hours 48 normally. It should be 4 hours 48. So it's quite some time. And it's not only once that they may take baths in Radha Kund during this pastime, and then also sometimes they play Holi. So after Holi they have to dress again. Sometimes they also go into Yamuna. And sometimes when Krishna is in the forest with his boyfriend, they also go and swim in the Yamuna. So Krishna is dressed many times. Because when they come out of the water after, the boys have to redress Krishna. That time in the boys' way. So they take water from the Yamuna, flowers from the Yamuna, lotus flowers, and they make garlands with the, how we call say, they take the lotus stems and they peel it in order to remove long fibers from the lotus stems. And with these long fibers, they use it as a thread to make garlands. There is also another art in Vraj, which is the art of making garlands without thread, by just intertwining flowers together. It's also possible in this world. I have seen some Vaishnavas doing this. If you know the technique, you have to just pick up the flowers by keeping a little bit of the stem and few leaves, and then you can intertwine them together. Actually, when you know how to do this, the person I saw doing this, he made a garland very quickly like this, just intertwining different flowers together, and that makes a garland without thread. I don't know how strong it is, but it's not important, because there are always some people, some associate, willing to make newer and newer garlands. So, what is the origin of all this? Oh yeah, we were explaining the verse that in the past, the Yamuna would every day become muddied with the black must, anointing the Braja Gopis' bodies and breast, because they had this decoration. That's from the decoration we were speaking. Sometimes we have to speak about the Krishna Lila and the beauty of the Lila also. There was no separation. Now we come back to the separation. That was in the past, when the gopis would go and take baths in the Yamuna. That would make the water of the Yamuna darker, because the musk is black. Now that Krishna has left Vrindavan, the water is twice as muddy, but this time with the mascara washed away by the gopis' constant tears. So that means the gopis were constantly crying when Krishna left. So here we see the importance of tears in Krishna Lila. We will see so many references to the tears. This is the world of tears. Raj is the world of tears. They are always crying. Tears is one of the most frequent and manifested Sadvika Bhav, ecstatic manifestation from the body. And this happens very often. Everybody is crying in Braj, Nanda Maharaj is crying, Mother Yashoda is crying. Even when Krishna is there, they have all very, very soft hearts, like butter, and they melt easily in tears. Or in English we say they burst into tears, but in French we say they melt into tears. So they easily, but I like this expression of melting into tears. They easily cry, they easily shed tears of love, of joy, of sadness, of um, how to say, when they are surprised, and of separation also when they lose the company of Krishna during some other parts of the day. The gopis cries, and the gopa, they also cry. When Krishna disappears in the forest, they cry, they're searching for him. So the cows, they also cry, the birds, they also cry. It's very, very well spread. It's a crying symptom in Vraj. So we have also to learn that little heart, as Prabhupada would say, of crying for Krishna. It's very important that we let our heart cry. And if we don't cry, then spiritual life will be difficult. We have to learn how to really cry for Krishna. It comes by softness and kindness and sincerity, and really willing to serve Krishna and to feel his heart. And we should never misbehave or be proud with the Vaishnavas or the people in general, because this will harden our heart, and then we cannot cry. We become either proud or insensitive. These are very difficult obstacles in spiritual life. The feeling of being better than others, then you cannot cry anymore, and you're stuck in a big mistake in devotional life. Devotion is not about being better than the others. It's about being lower than the others and crying. And also when we become insensitive, or we don't feel the pain of others, this is also a very big obstacle in spiritual life. We have to feel sorry. We have to feel the pain. Paradukha dukhi. The pure heart is feeling the suffering of others as his own suffering. So these are good feelings that makes our heart cry. But when Krishna left, they really couldn't stop crying anymore. So the gopis were crying so much that their tears became constant, and their tears would wash away their mascara and flow in streams to the Yamuna and muddy the water of the Yamuna. So this is verses coming from Rupa, from Sri Sarvananda. Rupa quotes it. It helps us to understand how the gopis are crying. And the tears of the gopis, they are like their heart gushing out from their eyes. It's all their pain, all their sadness, all their separation that's just, how to say, swelling. The ocean of their feelings is swelling so much in their heart that then it overflows through their eyes. It's not just sentimental tears that someone making a show sheds. No, it's they're trying to check their tears, but they can't, because the emotion is too gigantic, too beautiful, too sweet. They're completely controlled by these emotions. So they're constantly crying. Then Rupa. So yes, and we have to understand the beauty of their tears. Tears in Radha and Krishna Lila, they have so much, uh, so much, a very important role to play because they really express the heart. When you see your beloved or someone you love with all your heart crying, it's really a very special experience and it talks a lot. Um, we said that tears are the only language of love, actually. We express love not by words but by tears. And tears manifest the presence of real words. And this is very present in Radha and Krishna. When something happens, some feeling comes, then Radha starts to cry or Krishna starts to shed tears. And that means something. Then those who see Krishna's face at this moment or Radha and his face and these tears, every tears are different because they are the outpouring of different feelings. And then you can understand her feeling. When you see the face of someone, you understand the feeling of the person, except if the person is trying to fake. But still, you see that the person is faking, so you can understand his feeling must be different. But they're not trying to fake anything. They're just crying, and then the others understand and they feel or they see this feeling coming out from their heart in the form of these very beautiful tears. Tears are extremely beautiful in the spiritual world. Um, they are like jewels. They are like streams of liquid jewels. How to say? Flowing from their eyes down their cheeks, like this, and then they go and they continue and they go over their body, over their breasts, and they wash away the mascaras, they wash away the mask or kumkum they have on their breasts. So, and because they cry so much, it really makes some very beautiful manifestations because these tears are not just liquid, they're carrying the feelings of their heart. So if you would just touch one of such tears, then the feeling of the person who cried that tears would just enter into your heart also. Very, very powerful tears. Like for example, Radha Kund was made by the tears of Radha and Shyam Kund by the tears of Krishna. And Prema Sarova was made by the mixed tears of Radha and Krishna. And by touching these waters, you become completely transported. Or if we are too fallen, we become just purified. But at some point, when the purification does its effects over the years, then we come to the point where we have become purified, and then now contact with purity will awaken divine feelings. And when we would touch the water of Prema Sarova, we would actually feel that we're touching the tears of Krishna and Radha mixed together, that we're actually touching these tears that are actually just liquefaction of their heart. And then when we can feel that these feelings from their heart will just enter into our heart just by this little contact. It happened when Krishna saw that Kund in Varshana, where Radhani had washed her hand, and all the heart of Radha went away inside the Kund in the form of the haldi that she was washing away from her hand, and that haldi spread out in the entire Kund and made the Kund yellow golden. And in the same way, meanwhile, her bhav that was in her heart, because she was thinking about Krishna, so her love was there. Her love is always there. whatever she touches, she transports in love. But at that time, her love was transferred to the lake of Pilipokar. And when Krishna came and he touched that lake after the gopis had gone, he felt the love of Radha and he entering into him just by touch. So tears are not simple things, they are extraordinary aspects of the love. They are one of the most beautiful outpouring of pure love. The other verse says, "This is the shore of the Yamuna. In this place, when the cows heard the glories of Krishna, the grass fell from their mouths. When the gopis in different places heard the sweet sounds of Krishna's flute, their beautiful eyes opened wide and they trembled continually." So this is remembrance. These are remembrances of when Krishna was there. Remembering all the cows, they would just become stunned and the grass would fall from their mouths when they would hear about Krishna. And when the gopis would hear the sound of Krishna's flute, they would become also stunned, and their eyes would become stunned wide open like this, mesmerized by that sound. Their heart robbed by the beauty and the sweetness of their sound, the sound of the flute, and they started to shake, to tremble. But now this is no more happening because Krishna has left. I offer my respectful obeisances to the gopis. When Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, remembers their transcendental qualities, his warm sigh wilt the Vajayanti garland on his chest. So this is Krishna, either in Mathura or in Dwaraka. Here the verse is from an unknown author, anonymous, Rupa doesn't quote. Maybe from him he is not quoting, maybe from another Vaishnava that he doesn't want to quote or whom asked not to be named. But if it's reported by Rupa, that means it's from a pure Rasika Vaishnava who has pure love in his heart, otherwise Rupa would not write these words. And he says that when Krishna is in Mathura or Dwaraka and he remembers the gopis' qualities, then his breathing becomes so much warm because of the fire of separation that is in his heart, that his breathing wields his flower garland, his Vajayanti garland on his chest. As he's showing us that actually Krishna is manifesting also similar symptoms. And this is Jagannath. Jagannath in Jagannath Puri is this form of Krishna feeling separation from the gopis, from Dwaraka. Jagannath Puri's temple is Dwaraka, the castles of Dwaraka. And Jagannath is there. In one sense, he is like a prisoner of the Yadu dynasty, prisoner of his own pastimes. He doesn't really want to be there, although he wants for his Dwarka devotees, and he loves them also fully. But in the core of his heart, Krishna wants to be in Vraj. But Krishna also has to give his love to the Dwarka devotees, so he stays there. But in the core of his heart is broken and he's feeling separation from Radha. This is Jagannath. That's why he sometimes manifests this form where he becomes stunned and his arm and legs, they enter into his body and his eyes, they open wide, and it's so extreme to think that from the beautiful form of Krishna that we hear about and that we see in his deities. Today I went to see Radhakanta in the Gambira, Radhakanta is so beautiful, so sweet, such a beautiful form. And it's difficult to think how come, by what feeling, a person looking like Krishna can all of a sudden take a form like this of Jagannath, so different, absolutely different that you cannot even recognize him. That means this, because the form of Jagannath is an ecstatic symptom of Krishna, of separation. This is the form of separation from Radha. We call Radha Vihara Vidura. Or Vigraha. I don't remember. It must be Vigraha. So, when Krishna enters into that very intense separation from Radha, sometimes he becomes like Jagannath. It's not so often, it's on very intense and rare occasions, but otherwise still he is crying there in Dwarka, feeling the same separation, burning of the same fire. He also cannot live without them. So when we see Jagannath, this is how we have to understand Jagannath. Otherwise we don't understand Jagannath, and many devotees, they don't understand. They see, oh, Jagannath looks happy, he's funny, he's cute, but this is not really who Jagannath is. Jagannath is smiling because he is trying to hide his internal pain, and he, inside his heart, is so broken to be far away from Radha that in order not to cry, he has to smile. He has to force a smile and make everyone think that he's all right. So Krishna is containing always his pain and his tears, always containing and trying to be normal. He doesn't want the Dwarkavasi to become sad also. He's already sad enough himself. So Krishna is containing that pain and smiling in order to not let the others imagine or guess what he is feeling inside. So that's Jagannath. We have to understand that. This verse that we read is about Jagannath. I offer my respectful obeisances to the gopis when Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, remembers their transcendental qualities, or we could say when Jagannath, his warm sighs, or sigh, I don't know properly how to pronounce it in English, wield the Vaijayanti garland on his chest. So this is another aspect of separation. Then he quotes a verse about the words of Uddhava to the gopis. All gopis separated from Lord Krishna. Even the great yogis are not able to travel your path. They meditate on the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Supreme Person meditates on you. This is your rare fortune. Another unknown author. So this what, in other words, remember Uddhava stayed in Vraj for a long time, so he had to say many things to the gopis. That's one of the beautiful things he told them. He said, the great sages, they cannot travel your path. They're meditating constantly on Krishna. But Krishna meditates upon you. So that's your rare good fortune. Nobody has such a good fortune as you, because Krishna is constantly thinking about you, the way you're constantly thinking about him. Krishna in Dwarka cannot forget Radha, and inevitably all her girlfriends also, because they have a very similar love. We have to understand Lalita Vishaka, Chitra Devi, Induleka, Champakarata, Rangadevi, Tungavidya, and Sudevi, Asta, Sakis, they have a very, very similar love for Krishna than Radharani's because they are expansions of Radha. In one sense, we can see them as 8 different forms of Radharani, through which Radharani is serving Krishna more, because Radharani loves so much Krishna that she's not satisfied by serving him only in one form. So she becomes 8 in order to serve Krishna in 8 forms. Then she can love him 8 times at the same time in different ways, and then she can express her love in these 8 forms with different flavors also. So this is more heart touching for Krishna, because Krishna receives now Radha's love. In Radha's, it's through Radharani's direct form, but then through also 8 expansions form. And then there are also the Manjaris, there are also Kayavyuhas, expansion of Radharani, and there are also much more gopis that are expansion of Radharani. Ultimately, 108 gopis are expansions of Radharani, because Radharani wants to expand in all these ways to serve Krishna. This is how we have to see them. They are not separate identities from Radha. They are just other forms of Radharani. So Krishna remembers them. He cannot forget them because he cannot forget Radha. If you love Radha, then you will also love all of them, because they are manifestations. They are other forms of Radha, nearly as complete as she is, with nearly a love nearly as unlimited as her love, but less. Actually, if we compare from another point of view, we could say that way less, because she is ultimate and they are not ultimate. But under the ultimate, if there is something that's there, that's them. There is nothing between the ultimate and them. So they are just the next after the ultimate love of Radha. So because of that, also Krishna is completely controlled by their love. And then another verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going through all this. He knows, he's conscious of all this beautiful reality. Now Krishna wants to experience from Radha's point of view, how is all this beautiful love. So Radharani stayed in that state for 100 years in separation from Krishna. Okay, Krishna came here and there, sometimes physically even, and also every night in their dream and constantly in their heart, but still, as I told, as the Varacharya has explained, inevitably in parallel there is the external situation, Krishna is no more here. So you cannot remove completely the separation. And Krishna wanted to experience that also. So Mahaprabhu, oh friend, what good things will I tell you? You used to approach my rivals, to speak my name, and affirm that I was the queen of Lord Krishna's life. Now when I see this messenger, I become afraid. He will tell me that Krishna's love for me has broken. I refuse to hear his message. I will not ask him any question. That's something Radharani said when she saw Uddhava. Very beautiful. She said that to her friend. Oh my friend. She saw Uddhava and she said, oh my friend, what good thing will I tell you? You used to approach my rivals when Krishna was there. You used to speak my name and affirm that I was the queen of Lord Krishna's life. But now when I see this messenger, Uddhava, I become afraid that he will tell me that Krishna's love for me has broken. She fears, because you never know what message he will bring. Maybe that's the message that, okay, finally Krishna has broken his love for you, he married. Or he said that was just some love at some time when he was young, and now he found his real love. She always feeling this, because she knows there are so many women in Mathura. So she said, I refuse to hear his message. I will not ask him any question, because I don't want to risk that he will tell me that Krishna's love for me has broken. This is also radical Chistayana Udaradharashani. Mahaprabhu also feeling all this. Mahaprabhu is Krishna who wants to experience all the feelings that Radha experienced when she is separated from him. So we'll have to go through all of them. And because she is also continuously experiencing newer and newer feelings, because that pastime of Radha and he being separated from Krishna, when Krishna leaves Raj, is also eternal. And it's not always exactly the same, it's always new and increasing and more beautiful. So for eternity also Krishna has to continue that pastime of Mahaprabhu and continuing to experience more and more all these feelings, newer feelings, greater feelings of Sri Radha. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he feels in Puri, and Lalita Vishakar accompanying him in the form of Swarup Damodar Ramananda Roy. They're there next to Krishna, taking care of his heart, that he will be able to bear Radha and his love, that he will not die in the experience, as the way they're keeping their service is to keep Radhani alive. They're also trying to keep Krishna alive in this attempt to experience Radha in his heart. And he's going through all of this. This was a verse by Ramachandra Das. So we will stop here for today. There are more Rupa, Jiva, Raghunath, Sanatan, and more. They have written so many jewels for us. And I feel happy to explore this ocean of separation that Mahaprabhu came to experience here in Jagannath Puri, by reading all these beautiful things of the Acharyas and trying to embrace them in my heart and feel them and keep them in my heart. I want to feel what Krishna feels, because I want to understand him deeply in order to be able to help him properly. So I do hope you also share this similar feeling. If you're still listening here today after all these long hours of speaking about Krishna, I guess you can appreciate this, and you have a very sensitive heart, a soft heart that feels pacified and purified and how to say, feels beautified by hearing about this supreme love of Radha and her girlfriend for Krishna and his love for them. This is the highest purification we can undergo, to hear about this and then remember them when we chant the holy name. That will bring our life to the ultimate perfection of becoming one of them. This is the sadhana, proper sadhana, which is called Vaga, Anuga, following in the footsteps, of following the hearts of the Vraja Gopis. And it can be done also for other devotees, but here it's in the context of the Gopis that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I feel very happy to be able to do this, and to share it with you. And I understand that if we can do this, this is because every time Prabhupada is here with us, through his books, Prabhupada said he would be always living in the form of his books. So actually we are listening to him, and he's accompanying him, he's sitting next to us, accompanying us to enter into that dimension of imbibing the feelings of Radha and her girlfriends and of Krishna for them in the meeting and in the separation. And in this way Prabhupada is taking us by the hand through his purports and through his translation of the verses, and through also introducing us to Rupa and Narottam and Raghunath and all his eternal young friends of Raj. Prabhupada is introducing us and taking us by the hand to bring us to them, so that we can be touched by their love. That's what happened to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He explained in Navadvip Bhavtaranga when he once fell unconscious in Navadvip Mayapur, falling on the ground. And then he found himself in Goloka, in his spiritual body of Kamala Manjari, young Manjari, 12.5 years old. And he saw Ananga Manjari, who is his eternal guide there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Kamala Manjari is serving Ananga Manjari. And so Ananga Manjari took that little girl, Bhaktivinoda took her by the hand and brought her to Rupa Manjari, and she introduced her to Rupa Manjari. And then Rupa Manjari was so happy to see this young, beautiful girl who was Bhaktivinoda, Kamala Manjari, and she touched her with the finger of her hand, and at that moment, by her mere touch, she transferred all her love into Kamala Manjari's heart, all her feelings, and the desire to follow in her footsteps. So that's what Prabhupada is doing for us also. Maybe we don't realize it yet, but one day we will realize it. And what happening to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, meeting Rupa Manjari, can also happen to us if we just from now on take the path of listening about the heart's feelings of Radha and her friends and Krishna for them, and taking, how to say, imbibing all those feelings in our heart too. This is called Raganuga Bhakti, imbibing their feelings and desiring to be with them and be like them. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you.